Barack Obama is the gift that just keeps on giving and giving and giving. His words are coming back to haunt him once again. This happens on the left all the time. They seem to forget that what they say is recorded for posterity, and then when their flaming hypocrisy comes back to bite them in the rear, they act all shocked as if they couldn't have possibly said such a thing. After President Trump met with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Helsinki, Finland yesterday, the left went into a hysterical feeding frenzy, accusing Trump of collusion and treason. It was the meltdown heard around the world. Literally. Meanwhile, President Trump is declaring the summit a wild success. He tweeted on NATO, "I had a great meeting with NATO. They have paid $33 billion more and will pay hundreds of billions of dollars more in the future, only because of me. NATO was weak, but now it is strong again. Bad for Russia. The media only says I was rude to leaders, never mentions the money." Then he tweeted on Russia, "While I had a great meeting with NATO, raising vast amounts of money, I had an even better meeting with Vladimir Putin of Russia. Sadly, it is not being reported that way. The fake news is going crazy, and the left lost their minds." Chuck Schumer went off the deep end and said that Americans are wondering if the only explanation for President Donald Trump's performance alongside Vladimir Putin is that the Russian president holds damaging information over President Trump. Give it a rest already. If he did, that would have come out long ago. Sheesh. In a statement, Schumer went on about Trump putting himself over our country for declining to criticize Putin during a joint news conference and dismissing intelligence reports on Russian interference in the 2016 elections. Calling Trump's performance shameful, Schumer said Trump strengthened our adversaries while weakening our defenses and those of our allies. "What the president has done is an insult to all Americans," Schumer said. Wow. And he just would not shut it either. A single, ominous question now hangs over the White House. What could possibly cause President Trump to put the interests of Russia over those of the United States? Millions of Americans will continue to wonder if the only possible explanation for this dangerous behavior is the possibility that President Putin holds damaging information over President Trump, Schumer said in the statement. What a disingenuous lie. Then the Hill gave Pelosi her turn. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, D. California, blasted President Trump on Monday following his press conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling for Americans to vote out the sellouts in the GOP and asserting that the Russians have something on the president. The California Democrat said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, and House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy, R. California, aren't doing enough to push back against the president's stance on Moscow after he supported Putin's denial of interfering in the 2016 election. If Donald Trump failed to stand up to Putin in front of the press, what makes you think Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell and Republicans in Washington will defend us from a foreign adversary's attack? She tweeted, "They've done nothing. It's on us to vote out the sellouts." Just freaking wow. Are you serious? Let's take a look, shall we, at what Barack Obama had to say all the way back in time to 2016 about Putin. He denies it, so the idea that somehow public shaming is gonna be effective, I think doesn't read the thought process in Russia very well. Between Obama's flexibility with Putin and Hillary's reset button, America has far more to fear from the left than they ever will the right concerning Russia. Obama's statement is humiliating for Chuck and Nancy. The full quote from the Washington Post from Obama went like this, "And I know that there have been folks out there who suggest somehow that if we went out there and made big announcements and thumped our chests about a bunch of stuff, that somehow that would potentially spook the Russians," he said. And I should point out, by the way, part of why the Russians have been effective on this is because they don't go around announcing what they're doing. It's not like Putin's gone around the world publicly saying, "Look what we did. Wasn't that clever?" He denies it, so the idea that somehow public shaming is gonna be effective, I think doesn't read the thought process in Russia very well. Yeah, WAPO claims that Obama did not denounce Russia more forcefully leading up to the 2016 election because he thought it would not have any effect, but somehow Trump doing it will. Get real. House Minority Whip Steny Hoyer, DMD, said Trump's remarks were nothing short of treason, echoing comments from Obama CIA boss John Brennan. That charge borders on treasonous itself and it's laughable. Trump clarified his comments on Twitter, As I said today and many times before, I have great confidence in my intelligence people. However, I also recognize that in order to build a brighter future, we cannot exclusively focus on the past. As the world's two largest nuclear powers, we must get along. You can't argue with that, but the Dems will.